Okay, I'm here with Zuleyka Benitez. Zuleyka has donated sculptures to the Evanston Rebuilding Warehouse benefit for at least 2 years,
Yes.
probably more. 2 years that
That
I've
I
been there.
remember. That's how far my memory goes back.
Yeah, I remember because the first year there were a bunch of people. I was in the checkout, and there were a bunch of people who were fighting about the egg beater sculpture. I think it was.
Well, I paid them all generously, and it created some talk.
And last year you donated three sculptures: Rocket Man, Dancer, and it was ballet dancers, and I can't remember the third. It had a birdhouse with dominoes.
House Pride. House
House
Pride.
Pride. And that was, I was bidding on two, and I had people begging me to stop. And there literally was someone in tears when she didn't win one of the sculptures.
That's
So,
my artwork always brings tears.
so I'm very excited to see what you're doing this year. I was also excited to see how you work, and see how many people we can bring to tears this year. So this is one of the things you're working on?
Basically, I work from odds and ends, and I work with things that I find. When I started doing little sculptures like this, it started from a very strange beginning in that I was designing Baroque opera sets. And in the Baroque period, they only used mechanical things like cranks and levers. And I started making little models for our sets, and I thought, wow, this crank stuff is pretty cool. So in the spirit of making people cry from last year, I've done this new piece, and it features kind of a Cirque du Soleil kind of theme, and it's called Stratocasters. And I used a perfectly good Miller Falls crank to spin the figures. And it moves basically on a shaft with no friction. That's what makes it spin so nicely. And if you spin it really hard, you can use it as a self-flagellating machine. Okay?
With all of the people at Evanston that are involved in circus and the Actors Gymnasium, that should be a great one this year.
Well, we'll see. Well, again, we'll see. This is
This will be my kid's favorite.
this is the number 15 punishment for using a straw, or the 15th way that you can reuse straws. Okay, like that. This is one I'm going to give to be auctioned off, and it's called Twister. It's got springs from a clock. This is to make a gingerbread house. This handle you may recognize from that popcorn popper.
Oh,
when
yeah.
when you set the house on fire when you're a teenager. And I haven't gotten to that all important part that I'm putting little lights in here so you can use it as a light too. So it does all kinds of useless things. Okay? And let me show you how, and to close it up, I just want to show you how things can fail too. Now, I started out with this figure, and the can said Skyflake, so I thought, oh great. But this is what I wanted to do. I wanted this figure to go back and forth, and I wanted these propellers to spin, and I thought that I could use a straw again to somehow, with a propeller, turn around. But this is all it does. Hey, that's really... one thing I did discover was that if I start the spinner, the vibration keeps it going. But that really wasn't what I had in mind. So who knows? I'll put it aside, and you'll see it again next year, resurrected as something that works.
Or if anyone has ideas of solutions, send those and post them, and we'll share them.
Someone way smarter than me. Let's get this going.
And so what is it about the Evanston Rebuilding Warehouse? I know typically you don't make a lot of sculptures.
Oh, no. I just go there to look at the junk and also, the find object. But what I like about it is it just brings me back to my early days when I did work as a contractor at one time and did a lot of remodeling. And I think about all those projects that I could be doing, but I'm not doing that anymore. So I just go there to look at stuff and look at gewgaws. I got these there. They were curtain rings. But they're really interesting because they're so old school. I just like the way they worked. What else a lot of this stuff comes from there. Springs, love springs. You can't do too much with springs. Yeah. Okay, well.
Yeah, and I forgot what I was gonna say.
That's okay. You
I
seem
know.
overwhelmed.
Last year, I remember asking you if I could come and see sculptures and purchase sculptures in your studio somewhere. And one of the things I was disappointed by, but is good for us at the warehouse, is you only sell these at the benefit.
That's it.
So if you're interested in getting one of Zuleyka's sculptures, you have to go to the benefit.
I have to, you know what? I have to give them away. And you have to buy them from them. And they only come at the warehouse.
All right.
Once a year.
Once a year, so September 22nd, and I'll post a link to...
And there might be other things. This is just the beginning of the big mystery.
Good. All right.
Sure.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to see where you end up by the benefit.
You know what? Me too.